Have you ever been so overpowered by the chatter and never-ending flow of opinions around you, keeping up with the constant strain of expectations? I find it amazing to consider that over 2,000 years ago, Stoic philosophers experienced the same emotional challenges and dilemmas regarding identity and purpose that people do now, that the lessons learned from ancient times are still extremely applicable in today's fast-paced modern world. You're in the right place if you're interested in a time-tested philosophical approach to life, stress management, finding meaning in life, or just want to learn about timeless truths that can help us navigate the chaos of the 21st century with grace, resilience, and profound inner peace. Together we'll explore how Stoicism isn't just a set of ideas, but a practical guide to living more fully, genuinely and calmly care less about other people's opinions. And if you're ready to start this path of self-discovery and timeless wisdom with us, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. This video has been carefully created with you in mind, so don't skip any of the parts. Every second counts toward becoming a more composed, robust version of yourself. Isn't it amazing how much we've all at some point in our lives become enmeshed in the opinions of others? We frequently give up our happiness and peace of mind in an attempt to fit into the stereotypes that other people have of us. But let's take a moment to consider the age-old Stoic advice. It's a liberating realization that the only approval you really need is your own. Now consider this. When you lay your head on your pillow at night, it's your thoughts that's left over, not others. So why not make those thoughts about your true self, your values, and your actions? Marcus Aurelius emphasized the futility of seeking external approval. He challenges us to question this innate desire to please others. Imagine living a life free from the influence of passing trends or ideas. But how can we begin to care less about what other people think? It starts with realizing and restating your principles. What do you stand for? What matters most to you? When your actions align with your values, you experience a deep sense of authenticity and serenity that no amount of outside validation can match. Additionally, accepting your individuality draws the right kind of people into your life, those who value you for who you truly are rather than for what they think you should be. It's about quality over quantity. It is far more satisfying to have a small number of meaningful connections that are built on respect and understanding. It's important to keep in mind that people's opinions matter more than chasing the ephemeral favor of the masses. Are just that, opinions. They are subjective and frequently more representative of the person expressing them than of you. As Marcus Aurelius sagely observes, the only reliable source of validation stems from within, from leading a life that is consistent with your beliefs and ideals. This is especially true when it comes to being truthful. While not lying to others is a simple default, Stoicism challenges us to consider honesty on a much deeper level. Higher degree. It involves bringing our words and deeds from the outside into line with our inner ideals and beliefs. Doing so deeply promotes a sense of integrity and wholeness. Imagine the serenity that arises from realizing that your deeds are authentic manifestations of your inner self, rather than merely stage acts. One of the greatest Stoic thinkers, Epictetus, drives home this point quite effectively when he says that being honest makes sense on both a practical and moral level. It is intellectually taxing to lie because it forces us to keep track of our lies, hide our tracks, and live in continual fear of being discovered. On the other side, honesty is straightforward and freeing. It sets us free from the complex web of dishonesty and enables us to live simply and clearly. But here's the actual deal. Being honest with ourselves about our shortcomings, abilities, and desires has an impact on our relationships with others, as well as with ourselves. It's like cleaning out the clutter in our minds to make place for more serenity, more understanding, and more true connections with the people around us. When we embrace honesty, we prepare the path for genuine progress and self-acceptance. So how can we cultivate this virtue in our daily lives? It starts with small steps. Adopting honesty is not always easy. It requires courage and vulnerability. Sometimes it means admitting we were wrong, facing our mistakes, and dealing with the consequences of our actions. However, the reward is trust, respect, and a clear conscience that is well worth it. Be open and honest in all of your interactions. Think back on your day, identify any instances in which you may not have been quite honest, and ask yourself why and how you may change. Recall that it's a journey, because living an honest life is the first step toward a life that is more peaceful and fulfilling. Everyone has experienced the sharp pain that results from someone's words or deeds hitting us squarely in the feels. Seneca, who has a deep grasp of human nature, urges us to see past appearances. He contends that, frequently, people's actions that we deem cruel or offensive have nothing to do with us at all. Rather, they are motivated by their experiences, difficulties, and past. Everyone appears to be walking around the world donning a distinctive pair of glasses that affects how they perceive everyone and everything around them, including us. Consider a moment when you may have lost your temper with someone or behaved in a way that wasn't authentically you. It's possible that you were experiencing stress, fear, insecurity, or simply having a rough day. Now that we can identify this in ourselves, why not apply the same understanding to others? Seneca calls this perspective shift empathy. But when we stop taking things personally, it's also about protecting ourselves. We can breathe, move, and live more freely when we detach ourselves from the needless suffering that results from thinking that everyone's actions are directed towards us. It's like letting go of a heavy burden we've been carrying around. But how do we actually accomplish this? How do we stop taking things personally, especially when our emotions are already heightened? It starts with a pause. When you feel that rush of hurt or anger, just pause, take a breath, and remind yourself that this might not be about me at all. This simple act of pausing can prevent a reactive spiral and give you space. To select a more rational response, it's also important to develop resilience and understanding. The more we remind ourselves that we don't fully understand what others are going through, the less likely it is that their words or actions will cause us to be hurt, and when we do, we can use it as a training ground for our Stoic principles. By adopting this Stoic attitude, we not only safeguard our mental health, but also make ourselves more approachable to connections that are meaningful and caring. Ask yourself what you can learn from this and how it might help you grow. We become more understanding and less reactive, and somewhat closer to the humanity that resides within each person we encounter. Marcus Aurelius talked about patience a lot. He understood it as an active engagement with the current moment, whatever it may bring, rather than just a passive waiting to avoid taking things personally. Was similar to putting on armor to withstand the hardships of life that could potentially irritate. Consider this. When you're stuck in traffic, you can accept that you can't move much quicker than the cars in front of you. This gives you the flexibility to listen to your favorite music, an audiobook, or just your own thoughts. It also presents an opportunity to learn about endurance and serenity. This adjustment modifies your perception of the traffic rather than the actual flow of it, transforming an annoying burden into a peaceful or even enjoyable moment. Comparably, when dealing with a difficult person, imagine if you responded with patience rather than annoyance or anger. You give yourself a moment to comprehend their perspective and realize that their behavior is primarily a result of their personal struggles. This doesn't mean you accept bad behavior, but rather that you respond to it with poise and consideration, which frequently reduces tension and produces better results for all parties. Stoic patience is about living in the present. Rather of resisting it, you should consider the inconvenience, delay, or barrier as a necessary element of the journey rather than a diversion from it. Every instance of impatience is an opportunity to practice developing a calmer mind and a deeper grasp of Stoicism. But how can we do this in our daily lives? It all begins with awareness and recognition. When you feel yourself about to lose patience, then stop and inhale deeply. Another helpful step is to modify your expectations. Often, our impatience stems from things not going as planned. But if we remind ourselves that we are only in control of our response to things, we can set more realistic expectations and find peace in the way life unfolds. View each patient test as an opportunity rather than a barrier, like a muscle that gets stronger with exercise. Your capacity for patience grows every time you choose it, over frustration or anger. Remember Marcus Aurelius and the countless others who have faced far greater trials with dignity and patience, and the benefits are enormous. A more relaxed state of mind, reduced tension, and a reputation for being collected and considerate even under trying circumstances. Imagine the ripple effect you can create by simply living out your principles. Epictetus knew a thing or two about adversity and integrity. He didn't just lecture about Stoicism in the classroom, he lived it every single day and encouraged his students to do the same. To embody your philosophy, make your life a testament to your values by letting your actions speak louder than your words. When you act kindly, even in difficult circumstances, people notice and may be motivated to act kindly in return. When you act honorably, refusing to compromise on your principles, you set an example for those around you. And when you face hardship head-on and maintain your composure, you can serve as a ray of hope for those who are struggling. But how can we really accomplish this? How can we become an example for others? It begins with introspection. Take some time to think about the things that are really important to you. Once you have clarity on these, decide what principles you wish to live by. Develop patience. Make an effort to live up to your values. It involves making deliberate decisions each day that represent your values and identity. Of course, nobody is perfect. We all have moments of weakness and poor judgment. But setting an example doesn't mean being flawless. Rather, it means trying your hardest to live up to your principles, even in the face of difficulty, and accepting responsibility for your mistakes and growing from them. And pressing forth with even more determination. Consistency is a crucial component of being an example. It goes beyond simply acting morally when it's convenient or in front of others. It involves upholding your principles no matter where you are or who you are with. This consistency fosters respect and trust, and is what actually sets an example for others. Whether it is kindness, integrity, resilience, or any other virtue, let's take inspiration from Epictetus and work to be living examples of it. Remember that you have the ability to inspire and influence others, and to have a constructive influence on the environment around you. Be the change you want to see in the world, and observe how others can benefit from your example. It seems that negativity and criticism are present everywhere we look, on social media, in the news, and even in our day-to-day interactions. While it can be draining, you don't have to let them control your happiness. Marcus Aurelius frequently spoke about preserving inner serenity in the face of external upheaval. He described the inner citadel as a stronghold that we are unable to let outside negativity penetrate unless we let it. This idea is really empowering when you consider that you are able to establish and preserve a calm and peaceful area inside of yourself. No matter how fierce the storms outside, how can we keep our inner citadel safe? First and foremost, we must acknowledge what is and isn't under our control. We cannot control the hurtful remarks or rumors others spread, nor the harsh comments they make, but we can control how we respond to them. We can decide not to engage, not to internalize their negativity, and not to allow it to disturb our peace. Another important Stoic tactic is to consider the motivations behind the negativity. Often, those who lash out are dealing with their own problems, fears, or pain. However, this doesn't excuse their actions. However, it can assist us in reacting with empathy as opposed to defensiveness or rage. By allowing us to view their negativity as their burden rather than our own, mindfulness training is another effective strategy for preserving our inner fortress. When confronted with negativity, stop, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that this negative time is only temporary. It will go. It doesn't have to control your day or your attitude. You may maintain your inner serenity by remaining grounded and in the moment. Having positive people around you is also beneficial. Remember that you are in charge of curating your own life experience. Surround yourself with happy things, surround yourself with encouraging people, and interact with uplifting information. Select optimism and ignore the negative. Keep in mind that blocking out the haters is set an example rather than erecting barriers or acquiescing in apathy. It involves deciding where to direct your attention and energy. It's about holding on to your inner strength and serenity so you can deal with obstacles with poise and fortitude. Though Stoicism may seem to be solely focused on reason, love also has a significant place in it. Seneca teaches us that love is an action, not just a feeling. Love is a vibrant, active energy that you release into the world, and it has a lovely feedback loop wherein the more love you give, the more of it returns to you, frequently in the most surprising ways. But what does it mean to be full of love in a Stoic sense? Being full of love also means practicing forgiveness and realizing that everyone we meet is fighting their own battle and carrying their own burdens. By choosing love and compassion, we lighten their load and our own. We connect on a deeper level, realizing our shared humanity. It entails approaching every interaction with people with goodwill and benevolence. It involves seeing the humanity in everyone, even those who are difficult to deal with. It means wishing well for others, genuinely desiring their happiness and well-being, regardless of how they feel about you. Moreover, Stoicism tells us that love is more than only interpersonal interactions. It's about developing a love relationship with life itself, welcoming all of its curveballs, and finding happiness in the little things in life, recognizing the beauty all around us, and interacting with the world in a meaningful, constructive way. So how can we develop this compassionate, Stoic attitude to life? Start small. Say something nice to a stranger. Express your gratitude to those you love, and practice gratitude every day. When faced with negativity or unkindness, try to respond with understanding and compassion. Remember, being full of love isn't about being naive or ignoring the harsh realities of the world. Rather, it's about choosing to respond to those realities with love rather than fear or anger. It's a courageous and powerful choice that can lead to true contentment and connection. Think back on your actions and intentions and ask yourself if they are rooted in love and kindness. Here's a Stoic remedy for this common problem. How often do we find ourselves reading through social media, staring at someone else's highlight reel, and feeling like we just don't measure up? Concentrate on your own route, your personal development and accomplishments. With their profound wisdom, the Stoics teach us that the only comparison that matters is with who we were yesterday, not with someone else today. This concept is incredibly freeing when you really think about it. Just picture yourself breaking free from the never-ending cycle of worrying about what other people are doing, feeling inadequate, and looking over your shoulder. The Stoics provide us with an alternative viewpoint, one in which your journey is uniquely yours, complete with obstacles, victories, and lessons. By accepting this, you can free yourself from the endless cycle of you respect your individual journey and develop a self-worth that is independent of outside approval. But how can we actually put this into reality? Tune out negativity is about being aware of when we're making these comparisons, especially in a world where we're often being urged to compare and compete. When you witness someone else's happiness or success, identify your feelings of jealousy or self-doubt. Then, gently tell yourself, my path is different, and that's okay. Finally, take time to actively enjoy your own accomplishments, no matter how minor they may seem. Did you complete a challenging assignment at work? Did you extend compassion to a stranger? Did you schedule self-care time? These are all accomplishments that you should be proud of, since doing so helps you to believe that your path is worthwhile and legitimate. Another effective Stoic technique is to reflect on your own development. Take some time to consider where you were a year, 5, or even 10 years ago, and acknowledge the progress you've made and the challenges you've faced. And the knowledge you will learn that this reflection not only increases your self-worth, but also helps you to appreciate your individual journey. Keep in mind that the Stoics valued wisdom, virtue, resilience, and inner peace. So when gauging your progress, take these more profound and significant indicators of development into account. Do you have the same level of patience and compassion as before? Stronger. In the whirlwind of our daily lives, it's easy to get caught up in the minutiae, the never-ending to-do lists, and the relentless pursuit of our personal goals. However, Stoicism, with its profound insights into the human condition, reminds us of what's truly important, the relationships we have with the people we love. These are the kinds of accomplishments that truly reflect your growth as a person. It may appear like Stoicism is solely focused on self-control. At its core, embrace love in actions is a resilient approach that prioritizes connections and communities. The Stoics recognized the transience of life, the value of each moment spent with loved ones, and the importance of living in the present. They also urged us to cherish the people in our lives who bring purpose and happiness. However, how can we actually put this into practice, particularly when life gets hectic and we become distracted? The first step is mindfulness, which is consciously choosing to be present with our loved ones. This involves paying attention to what they have to say, giving them our whole attention, and demonstrating our gratitude. Another important component is showing our loved ones how much we appreciate them, not just with large gestures, but also with the little things that happen every day that really make our relationships special. Just a short note of gratitude, final thoughts and conclusion. A simple word of kindness or a note of appreciation can go a long way toward recognizing the worth of the other person and the contribution they make to our lives. Another option is to express love, which can take many different forms depending on the recipient and the relationship. Some ideas include sharing joys and successes or spending quality time together. In the Stoic definition, love is dynamic and involved. It involves being present for others at key moments. Considering such, spending time with our loved ones is possibly cherishing our loved ones is about realizing the irreplaceable role they play in our lives and honoring that with our time and attention. It's all too easy to let relationships slide and assume that people will always be there, but the Stoic reminder of life's impermanence forces us to prioritize our relationships and carve out time for those who matter most, even when it feels like there are a million other things demanding our attention. and our love. It's about creating and preserving those connections. We are honored to be a part of your journey towards wisdom and inner peace. Please don't forget to watch one of the suggested videos on your screen to continue exploring the profound insights of Stoicism. Together, let's cultivate a life of virtue, resilience, and deep connection. Remember that the journey of life is one we share with those we hold dear. Cherish every moment. Embrace every opportunity to show love. Never underestimate the power of presence. Thank you for joining us on Stoic Journal today, and for incorporating Stoic wisdom into your life as we come to the end of this chapter of our journey together. Keep in mind that Stoic wisdom is more than just an antiquated book. It's a living, breathing manual for navigating the complexities of contemporary life. By adopting their teachings, you embrace a path of growth, resilience, and profound inner peace. We appreciate your presence and participation at Stoic Journal today, as they are what make this journey so worthwhile and enriching.